I'm about to introduce my first speaker. And I don't know if you all know what's about to happen, but I feel like it's a setup. Somebody say it's a setup.
It's a setup.
For this man to be the first one to be coming before you on this morning, it is definitely a setup. He and I met a few years ago. We actually went through the Certified Champion Influence Life Coaching Program together. Come on, we were the two of the first cohorts in Master Coach Toyenda's program. And we were all starting out together. And he goes by the name of Lester Young Jr. He is a native of Hilton Head, South Carolina. And at the age of 19, Mr. Young was given a life sentence with the possibility of parole after serving 20 years. Wow. Let that soak in. During this time in prison, Lester struggled with finding redemption and often wondered what his purpose was. While journaling, he asked himself this question: what is the footprint you want to leave in the world? It was then that he realized his purpose was to be that voice to help at-risk youth. So with the approval from the warden, Lester, along with the prison chaplain, began meeting with people to create outlines, programs, and classes to instruct and mentor fellow incarcerated individuals. Somebody say each one teach one.
Each one teach one.
This is where the idea of him establishing his own non-profit organization, Path to Redemption, that's where it got its start. So on May 15, 2014, 22 years and 5 months later, Lester was released on parole. Come on, somebody.
Come on.
The outlines of the program are still being taught in prisons. He also received a pardon by the South Carolina Probation and Parole Board. Pardon. That means you wipe the slate, please. Come on. He's hosted numerous workshops for at-risk youth as well as incarcerated individuals. He's always doing more to better him. He's a certified champion influence transformational life coach and the author of the following self-help books: The 5 Stages of Incarceration, The 5 Stages of Growth. They are both bestsellers. Come on and give it up for Mr. Lester.
Oh, sis, you gave me a heck of an introduction. I appreciate you. Good morning, everyone. Everyone's doing well this morning? As sis just mentioned, I humbly just ask that you all really just take some time to do some self-reflection as we begin to talk about growth. You're not able to really receive new information if you come with a cup still filled with stuff that you know that you need to pour out. So I just ask that symbolically that you just hold your hands and you pour out that which you do not want in you, and so that you can be able to receive that which is good that's going to be shared by myself and the other speakers today. That we have to be a vessel that is willing to receive information so that it allow us to be able to reach this level of growth that we all desire to have. As my sister Sanyata mentioned to you all, I was once incarcerated in South Carolina Department of Correction. I was sentenced to life in prison at 19 years old. And at that time, I was a wayward youth, lacking so many things that I now realize that if I would have had back then, it would have made me a better person. But I'm grateful that God allowed me to discover those things now so that I can continue to live my life on purpose, but most importantly, share some of these principles I've learned with others, just like yourself. But being a person that was sitting in prison at 19, I think about many people, when they hear my story, they say, well, I've never been in a prison, so this message is not really relevant to me. And I said that I disagree, because I found out that before I was in a physical prison, I was already in a mental prison, which unfortunately placed me in that situation, right? So I want you all to understand that these principles in which I'm sharing with you is not just about for those who are incarcerated. I've been home now a total of 9 years, and I'm thankful to God for these opportunities I've had. But in my encounter with so many people, I find, unfortunately, that many people have never been in a physical prison. I mean, in SCDC, the South Carolina Department of Correction. But I find so many people are still living in their own mental prison, their own emotional prison, their own spiritual prison. And then when we look at growth and we look at reaching a level of success, we're looking at how do we reach our goals, our target. You find that many people still struggle to obtain these things. You know, the first of every year is always my time where I look on Facebook, on social media, and I see people say 2023, I'm gonna smash these goals, and you know me, I'm a nosy guy sometimes. You know, I pay attention to it because I wanna see. And then, you know, as you look, you see that goal that they mentioned in the first part of that new year. You look throughout their timeline, it's nothing even posted anymore about that, right? So now you have to ask the question, like, what is happening? Or am I doing the same thing? So the first stage that I want to talk about in this growth, and the whole topic is coming from my book called The 5 Stages of Growth, and it's how I transform my life while serving life. And I want you all to really follow me with this until I am not a person that speaks standing behind a podium, all right? So I want you all to think about this. Like the first stage, if you have a pen, I see that you all are writing, the first thing I want you to write down on your book is healing from my past pain. Growth cannot come about if you not have made an effort to heal. And I put a quote here, it says, if you never heal from what hurts you, you'll bleed on people who didn't cut you. If you never healed from what hurt you, you'll bleed on people who didn't cut you. We find a lot of people bleeding on people that did nothing to them. I was that youth at 19, 20, 22 years old. I was that youth that was bleeding on so many people. I was bleeding on people that didn't hurt me. I was hurting people because I was hurt. I was not reaching the potential in which God created me to be because I was hurt and I was not willing to heal. So what I always tell people, if we really want to move forward in our journey in life, we have to take a time out from social media, from family and friends. Anything that is depositing negativity into you, you have to disconnect from that. And so that you can be able to charge up and begin this process of healing from your past pain. I want you all to ask yourself this question silently. What have I not healed from that is still holding me back? That is still keeping me inside of a prison? That is causing me not to be the person that God had created me to be? What is that thing that I need to go back home and begin to heal from? What is it? Because if we don't be honest and ask ourselves that question, what is it that I'm hurt, that has hurt me, that has still traumatized me, I'm still trauma bond to? No matter how beautiful you dress up, no matter how expensive the car is, how expensive the house is, no matter what you have, that stuff don't amount to nothing. Because, as it said, you will continue to bleed on people. I was this guy, I hid my pain, my trauma, my brokenness in expensive things as a young person. I was that young man that wanted to go and buy the most expensive pair of shoes, $300 shirts, pants. I wanted to be the most flashiest person because I said I was trying to attract the type of woman that I like. But really what it really boiled down to, I was really hiding. I didn't want the world to see this little 16-year-old kid that was 19, but I was still struggling with a level of brokenness that happened to me at 16. So I did everything I could to hide from the world. So I ask you, what are you doing that are hiding from the world? Are you dressing up to keep people from not seeing your flaws, your brokenness, your trauma? Are you the person that don't want the world to see? That's the first thing I want you to think about in this process here. Because if you don't heal, no matter what level of success you reach in your life, you will find yourself coming right back down the ladder. But then you'll have a victimization mindset. You know what the victimization mindset is, right? Is that it was your fault why this happened to me. They don't like me. They're hating on me. They don't want me to succeed. So what we do, right? We create this entire narrative in our head about what? They don't want me to succeed. Yeah, to blame the victim. I'm the victim, but really the victim is you. I need to take some time out to heal from that thing that traumatizes me, that thing that caused me to be broken. At 16 years old, my mom's passed away. So when I tell you all that I had to heal in my expensive clothing, I was a 16-year-old boy that was broken who lost his moms. Me and my moms had an argument the night before she died. I walked up, me and my mom argued the night before about washing dishes, right? Never anticipated or thought that morning my father woke me up and said, son, I need you to stay home with your moms until I come back to take her to the hospital. I told my dad, I said, Dad, I gotta go to school, I got a test. My dad should have seen through that because he know I hated school. But because my mom was a woman that when me and her have a disagreement, she would be the one that will always bring peace. This particular morning, she was too weak to come and say, son, I love you. So in my arrogance, my wayward thinking, my immaturity as a 16-year-old, I stormed out of the house, expecting to come back the next couple hours to see my mom. And then she was gonna have me something cooked, and she's gonna say, son, I love you. But that didn't happen. When I walked back into that house, my mom had already passed away. She was gone. So at 16, I had to I was shattered. Shattered to the point like, man, my mom's died mad at me. So from about 16 to about 25, 26 years old, I lived with that particular level of hurt. So shortly after that, my mother passed away, I found myself inside of a county jail. Sitting there facing 25 years. 4 months after my mother died. I got a 90-day, the 25 turned into a 90-day sentence. I completed the 90-day sentence, walked out at 18 months later, I was standing before a judge for murder. This time it was no 90-day sentence. The judge said, Lester Young, I sentence you to the Department of Correction for 20 years for life with the eligibility of parole after serving 20 years. So what I'm showing you and I'm sharing with you, when you hurt and you don't address the pain, your trajectory may not be incarceration. Your trajectory may be lacking in meaningful, wholesome relationship with family, friends, and your partners. That level of brokenness and trauma may be your lack of your reason for procrastination, your reason for not reaching the mark of your level of success, your reason for starting when you start something, you never finish it. You started, you excited, you get the gym membership, you do all of these things that you say you want to do. You get the beautiful journals and you maybe wrote only a week in it and then after that it's gone. There's a reason why. There's a reason why. And sometimes you have to take the time out to unplug and ask the question, what am I running from? What do I need to heal from? So that I can again plug in and be the woman or the man that I need to be in the most holistic way. So it took me, unfortunately, years of incarceration to discover this. Hopefully you get this in the next couple hours. The second stage that I want you all to write down is finding your voice. Finding your voice. And what does that mean, finding your voice? God created all of us with a unique sound, what is called a vocal cord. All of us have that. But sometimes we're not speaking in the most authentic voice that God has commanded us to speak in. We speak from the environment, we speak from the pain, we speak from the trauma, but we don't speak from the most authentic voice that God has given us to speak from. Some today, like you find people standing before people speaking. But the question is, are they really speaking from their authentic voice? Are they speaking from the thing that made them a better person? Or are they using their voice again to masquerade, to disguise, and to hide from pain? When we're talking about growth, growth is something that helps you elevate and progress forward. Healing, when you begin to heal from your past pain, it allows you to push through, have breakthroughs. Some people call it growing pain. Y'all know, familiar with growing pain, right? That reaching a level of growth requires pain. It hurts, especially when you have to go deep within your past experiences. It hurts. You have to go into that graveyard of all of the things that you kept secret. I remember sitting down one day in prison. I was talking to this young man. And man, he was hurting. He was an angry brother, man. He was real. He like, yo, I knock out anybody. I'm like, but bro, I don't like these people. I said, bro, why you like me then? It's just something about you, but man, I knock out everybody in here. I was like, why is this man so, every day he was mad. But because I was working on me and trying to understand me better and making me look into myself more, I said, bro, you need to really unplug and figure out, why are you angry? And I remember showing this young man, we was watching in the prison chapel, we was watching Antwone Fisher movie. And I said, man, you might need to watch this movie and try to figure out where your anger coming from. And as the movie went on, there was a scene in the movie where Antwone was molested by his foster sister. Not paying any attention to this, oh, I want to knock anybody out, brother. This man started weeping. I was like, what the? I love the movie, but you crying over here, brother. And after the movie was over, the brother came to me and said, man, I want to talk to you about something. I was like, what's up, man? He said, man, what you thought about the movie? I said, the movie's good, blah, blah, blah. He said, man, I'm Antwone. I said, what do you mean? Because it was all different phases of the movie. He said, I was the one that was molested. Right? In a prison environment, that was hard for a man to tell another man. Right? But what I'm sharing with you, he realized that he needed to heal. And by him carrying that burden, some of you may be carrying heavy burdens of past pain that you have not just released yet, that is causing you not to have your what? Authentic voice, have not allowed you to find your what? Your voice. Because you're still hiding behind the pain. Growth is about you breaking through all of those things that is holding you hostage. No matter if it's painful, no matter if you have to shed a tear, meaning that I'm going to release and grow. This young brother, man, he became a great guy inside of that prison and walked out of prison and became successful. And it was all because of that moment of a breakthrough. He healed. He began that process of healing. He first acknowledged it. So part of growth is what? I have to acknowledge something happened to me. I have to acknowledge I'm not well. I have to acknowledge that I need some help. No matter how many conferences you all come to, which I'm glad you were here, right? But these conferences will never be effective if you walk out of here still unwilling to do what? The work. Say it again. The work. You have to be willing to put the work in. And by finding your voice, finding healing, give you that voice now to tell people no. One of the reasons why when I was 17, 18 years old, I allowed my voice to be swayed and shaped by my environment. I was a young man that lacked self-esteem, lack of self-worth, had insecurities, didn't feel comfortable. So it was easy for me to be around people and what they say, I say. I became the parrot on the block. How many of you are like the parrot? Speaking only what you hear, but don't have no substance to it. I read a book, don't understand the book, but I just speak it. You have to dig deep, and that's through healing, addressing your areas of self-denial, addressing your areas of low self-esteem, addressing your areas of feeling not worthy of something. Money cannot make you feel worthy. I've made a lot of money in the past, but my greatest riches was me sitting in that prison with a prison uniform on. I only had 3 uniforms that was cheap. Didn't have no money like I had out there. Didn't have the cars, didn't have the jewelry. But I felt the most richest in that environment. And the reason why is because I was willing to do the work on me. And by doing the work on me, I found what? I began to heal. 2, what I found my voice. 3 is now I want you to say, I found my purpose. Found my purpose. Y'all saying it like y'all sleeping. You need some coffee up in here? Say, I found my purpose.
Found my purpose.
How many of you in here found your purpose today? How many of you have found your purpose in here today? For the ones who have not able, they got that crab arm, like they're not sure. Remember, when there's a healing taking place, in the pain of what you experienced in your past is your purpose. See, I see people trying to be multiple things, do multiple things after multiple things. And they're wondering the reason why it's not working. It's not working because it's not your purpose. It's not. Some of you are trying to mimic what you see others do. But it's not your lane. It's not what your God has created you for. It's not your destiny. It's not your purpose. It's not your gift. But if you're willing to go into the valley and to heal from past pain, find your authentic voice, then you discover your purpose. You're not going to discover your authentic God-given purpose without healing. Many people today are in jobs that they dislike. They hate these jobs, these long hours. And I'm always asking the question, if you hate it, why you keep doing it? Because I have to pay the bills. But I said, what do you love the most? What do you love to do? If you had a magic wand and to say that this one thing you would do for free, what is that thing? And they'll go in and tell me this list. And I'm going to ask you all who didn't raise your hand or those who gave that crab arm, write down, if you had a magic wand today and you was able to make that one wish, what would be that one thing you would do for free and won't even feel like nothing? What is that one thing? What is that one thing you would want to do? That if it's not even a dollar amount attached to it, you would do it for free. Someone raise their hand and tell me what that one thing would be. Go ahead. Empower people. What do you mean empower people? Men, women, what? Boys, girls? What does that mean? Be specific.
Help them to find ways to better themselves. I work with men.
Okay.
Primarily, but for people in general.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know, they don't have any direction in life.
Okay. Me and you can unpack that a little more at a later date. Because, yeah, go ahead.
Encourage men and women to speak truth to the lie.
Why?
Because we tell ourselves lies that are not true, and other people project their lies on us that are not true. So if we don't know the original intent of what God intended for us, we'll just start to take on what people say about us that's not true.
Why?
Because we don't know.
Why? I'm gonna keep pushing why. Like you gave me all of that, give me more. Like why? Why is it that that's your thing, that's your purpose? Why?
Because we're better than what the world tells us we are.
Why?
Because we're very good.
We're very good.
Yes.
I guess the question about when I keep asking why, what happened to you? What put you on that path to be able to share what you just shared with others?
Because lies were told to me or conversations weren't had that would
That's the
allow
why.
me to speak truth to myself.
That's what I mean when I say why.
Oh, okay.
You got it?
Yes.
See, we all have our messages in us. You see that? Coach, that was coaching right there. That was coaching right there. See, if y'all are wondering how you engage in coaching, see, I could have gave an answer, right? Coaching is just asking the question, why? The coaching seat is just asking the question, why? Yeah, I get you, right? But you feel me? So we see that a lot of the message for our purposes within our story, within us. You have to, like you see that I'm passionate about empowering men. I would say, why? And I'm pretty sure your story is that you may have experienced X, Y, Z, so that's the reason why you do what you do. Why I empower men that are currently in prison and after incarceration? Because I've been there. Why do I take time to empower youth? When my wife is saying, baby, you have not spent no time with me this week. I'm in the DJJ quad sitting there and work with these young men. Right? Yeah, my wife, she always said, you know, because one thing about purpose sometimes, you can go so much, man, that you got to remember the people you love and you got to maintain a balance. But because I love what I do so much, I go in there all day. Because when I look at these young men, I see me. I see the 16-year-old Lester that was broken. And I know that if I don't help that 16-year-old Lester that is broken, Lester may go and pull a gun and kill someone else and cause a family to grieve. Right? So that's why I'm in that system every day, talking to these young brothers about choices, even when I have to. So my why, my purpose, my voice came as a result of my own past pain. So when I say discover that, heal from your hurt, you find your purpose. Discover your purpose, you can go on social media, you can go to school, you can do all of this stuff. But it's not your purpose, it's not your purpose. You're gonna feel like you just exchanged one cage for another cage. But when you're living in that purpose, that's freedom. That's freedom. When you in there, that's your spot. Like, I'm good right here. Because I know that whatever you're doing when you're empowering women, you feel like you're passing the torch on to the next generation. And that feels good. You go to bed now, even if you're broke. Right? See, that's what I'm talking about. When you find something that you love, you're going to do that with passion, not for money. Like they say, your gift will make room for you. Your gift will provide the provisions for you. Just operate in your gift. Operate in your gift. I remember walking out of prison. I ain't had a nickel in my pocket when I walked out of prison. I moved to Columbia, South Carolina. Didn't know nobody other than some guys I've been locked up with in prison. But I remember me and my wife, we sat in the office we didn't even have an office then. We were sitting at the kitchen table and we designed a flyer, and I remember creating this flyer that says, save the youth from incarceration. And I went around the barbershops everywhere to give out these flyers because I wanted to help these young men. I said I'll be in the library on a Saturday afternoon, got there, set up everything, and nobody showed up.
Come on now. Make it plain. Make it plain.
No one showed up. I was defeated. But because I believed in the purpose, I kept going. I healed from my past pain. That gave me the fuel to keep moving. I found my voice. It kept me moving.